or some technical reason why this got.
Okay, thank you, sir. It's okay, sir. It happens. Technology is not within our control, and that is the actually biggest disadvantage of technology.
I was really ashamed because I was going to talk to the students of Triple IT, where the technology is, they are the masters of technology now. So
That to
I
information
was there
technology.
on time. But somehow or other it didn't work my way.
Okay, sir. So, so students, so once again we are back here, and first of all, a good afternoon to each one of you. Good afternoon to our respected resource person. And today we are fortunate to have Professor Manoj Dikshit sir as our resource person. And sir has a vast experience, both academic as well as administrative experience uh, in the higher education. And sir was the vice chancellor of Ram Manohar Lohia Awadh University, Faizabad, and currently sir is a professor in the Department of Public Administration, Lucknow University. And sir, we are thankful to you that in spite of your busy schedule, you have given time for our students. You have find some time to discuss with our students on a very pertinent issue and very relevant issue called anger management. We all get angry, and ultimately somehow that anger has to be channelized, or that anger has to be uh, anger is there within everyone, and that anger has to be channelized, or it has to be converted into some positive energy, or how to deal with that anger. So all these things will be listening uh, from honorable Professor Manoj Dikshit sir. So sir, now the stage is all yours, and sir, now it's over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Ranjit. Let me start straight away with the topic called anger management. Uh, I will try and tackle the issue with from two perspectives or the two angles or two uh, aspects of anger management. The reason is simple. Medical science is working out as to why we get angry. And if we know the why or the right diagnosis of why we get angry, we would immediately know what is the medicine that can be used for reducing the anger. Why we can definitely use all kind of techniques that they can help us not to become angry. So anger management is very important from the perspective that it disturbs you. There are no texts available, no reference available from ancient ages to the current ages which says that anger is good. But we do get angry. But why do we get angry, and how do we control it? How do we minimize the losses because of anger? Something is happening around us. You know, the Russia-Ukraine war is on, and so is war is on in many parts of the world. But why are they angry? What makes them angry? And as a student and as a teacher, we have a limited role to play in that kind of an anger that is taking shape. But why I am mentioning that anger is also that we have to get to the reasons of anger. I will try and see, try and explain to you as to what are the dynamics of anger, and why, if we get angry, how do we, uh, control it if we can. And then what are the other reasons? I will take you little on the higher platform as well as to what are the other reasons of anger, and how do we, how do we need to control it. We do not, we are not able to control anger. It's known to us. We become angry when we are distressed and body resources are down. That is a very simple physiological reason of getting angry. We are doing too much of work. Work hours are more than what my body and my mind can take up, and that makes us angry. When we are body resources are down, when you are thirsty, when the water level is down, when your sodium is down, when you are tired, when you are not willing to work and you are made to work, you get angry. And we are rarely angry for the reasons we think. That is another point. anger is not something which is unidirectional. You know, all the young children must have seen that when their parents were angry, they were beaten for no fault of them. But do you know that the reasons of anger are multiple or multi-directional? They get exhibited somewhere else. And that is another reason to know why why become angry. And that is the only reason we must understand that we should not be angry. We are often angry when we didn't get what we needed as a child. Deprivation. Deprivation also makes you angry. You must have seen, I think, I don't know, my age people have definitely seen all the movies of Amitabh Bachchan, where he was always an angry young man, and angry because of deprivation, angry because of mishandling, angry because of no money in the pocket and somebody mocking at you. So you get angry, but how many times you get angry is something that I will take you a little further on the little other side of the anger when we come to that level. We often become angry when we see a trait in others we cannot stand in ourselves. That's a very common human phenomenon. We are not able, though we are told to be, we are not able to see inside us. It is easy to say outside us. When we see outside us somebody who is happy according to us, makes us angry as to why I'm not happy, why I can't do what he can do. So when we see a trait which you don't have, you can't understand in ourselves, you get angry. There are, of course, other reasons also. Sometimes you get disillusioned also. Underneath many current angers are old disappointments, traumas, and triggers. Now, this is something where modern medical science is still working on. They have not yet reached any conclusions, but they are definitely trying to work on as to what are the old disappointments, old traumas, and triggers that make you angry. You must have seen the Sasbo kind of a serial where I was done this by my mother-in-law, so I will do it this on my daughter-in-law. That is a kind of old disappointments, old traumas, and old triggers. They are all available in the body. How often they are triggered, how quickly they are triggered, it varies from person to person, and maybe his upbringing, maybe his cultural background, maybe his spiritual strength, maybe his training, maybe his education, and maybe his success in life. There are all factors which they can help you, contain your anger. Sometimes we get angry because we are hurt as a child. And mind it, the child means child inside you. When you are hurt like a child, you are angry even if you are old. Now, child hurt is very, very common phenomenon. The child always, he is hurt. He's hurt if he's not fed. He is hurt. He or she is hurt if he's not fed. He or she is hurt if something is not given to him or her. So there are reasons why we get hurt. And maybe at the childhood hurt that may be permanent in your body or mind, it always hurts you whenever it triggers you. You get angry when a current event brings up an old unresolved situation from a past. That also makes it angry. There is some reason, something which is inside us, maybe buried deep down, but current event brings it up and it makes you angry. That it happened 30 years back, it happened 20 years back, it happened 10 years back. I was not worried about, but the current event has brought it back. We often feel strong emotion when a situation has a similar content, words, or energy that we have felt before. We have emotions are normal, strong, they are weak when similar kind of situation arises where we feel very strongly about, and that also makes it hurt or angry. And when you are angry, the reactions in us are not limited only to the physiological or a psychology, and it also goes to the physiology. And when anger makes some changes or something in your physiology, it is very difficult to explain for a doctor as to why it is happening. Like, for example, there are knots in your stomach. You feel very strongly about it in your stomach, but you know that you are angry and you are able trying to control it, and therefore there is something physiologically happening in you. You clench your hands or jaw, you feel clammy or flushed. You breathe very fast. Anger makes the blood circulation very fast, and then your breathing becomes very fast. There are headaches in certain cases. There is you need to pace or need to walk around to reduce your anger. You must have seen a picture of Kamal Hassan where he dances when he's very angry. So you need to do something to exhaust your anger or give vent to your anger. And if you are having an even head on your body, you will try and make more creative way of exhausting your anger rather than a destructive way. Your face is red. You are absolutely damn angry and what you call a seeing red. You having trouble concentrating. You don't know why you are not able to concentrate, but when you realize, go deep down, you probably have an inherent anger inside you which is not helping you to concentrate, and therefore you are not able to remember or not able to perform very well in your examinations, maybe in life. There is a heart pounding cases also. Your heart pounds very fast, and there are tensed shoulders at times when you have anger in your body. So anger can create a dozen reactions in your body physiologically, apart from, of course, psychological attention that it needs or psychological vent it needs. Now we have some questions that we need, maybe one of the questions that we need to answer very intimately, and I'm also not having one credible set of answers, but I will try and rig up the issue as to, as a scientist, you can always work it on as to why this happened to you. Say, for example, why are some people more angry than others? Now, reasons are not very easy to find out. But I have tried to see one of the reasons why what I have named as chronobiology or heliobiology. Now, heliobiology is something that has been worked upon by the Indian scientists in past, but in the recent times, in the 19th century, it was a Russian scientist called Alexander Chizhevsky who worked upon at great length to know what is heliobiology. Now, you know the helio word is for sun. Chizhevsky found out after a lot of scientific studies that when a particular phenomena happens on sun, and he said that it happens in around 12 years, that raises a lot of anger on or a lot of emotions in the people on earth, which leads to a lot of wars, a lot of violence, and a lot of revolutions on earth. And he subscribed this view by having a account of about 600 plus years. And this particular work was appreciated at that time. Of course, Chizhevsky was jailed because Stalin did not like this idea, and they always said that the anger is because of money, and they have found out a principle of called class struggle, Marxian principle of class struggle as the sole reason why revolutions take place, and therefore he was asked to withdraw this, and he did not. Of course, he was jailed. But now, after say around 100 years, we are again working on what you call is chronobiology or heliobiology. Chronobiology also is a very strong reason as to how 24 hours of a day are divided into different emotions. And when you do certain things, the similar things at different times, you have the different reactions in your body and mind, and maybe the society as well. So chronobiology and heliobiology are something that I wish my students of IIIT work upon at a later stage, maybe to develop some software also to understand and know as to why something is happening if it is happening at all. Anger is often a cover-up for other feelings. Anger itself is not a disease. Anger has never been recognized as a disease, but it hurts you more than anything else. So it has some other feeling in your body and it vents up as anger. So you have to know the reason as to why you became angry and what made you angry. And therefore, anger is also not very easy to manage because you have to go to the root cause of why you're angry, because anger itself has it is not a disease. There's something more that we can probably discuss is that you have a hard time compromising. As a student, you know that. It is hard for you to understand other people's point of view. And even harder to concentrate a point, concede a point. If you grew up in a family where anger was out of control, you may remember how the angry person got his or her way by being the loudest and most demanding. Compromising might bring up scary feelings of failure and vulnerability. So you have compromise is a formula fine, but it is difficult to compromise because of your upbringing, because of the environment, because of the college, institution, training, teaching, everything makes you, difficult to make a compromises if you do not agree with that point. You view different opinions and viewpoints as a personal challenge to you. Every idea that you accept changes your thought process by a bit. And man or woman, or I would say human, is always inbuilt change resistant. We do not like change. In management language, it is always said the only person who likes change is a wet baby. Others do not like change. But ideas and viewpoints do change your mind process, and that where you sometimes believe that you're always right and you get angry when you disagree. If you have a strong need to be in control or a fragile ego, you may interpret other perspective as a challenge to your authority rather than simply a different way of looking at things. This is something that you can develop, you will develop when you grow old, and when you face the world, you will understand this, that any counter view or any alternative view is not challenge to your existing view, or it doesn't mean that you have to change yourself, but it is also, you can understand that it is a different way of looking at the same thing that you're looking, or maybe it is the same thing that he is saying in a different set of words. So in the next slide, I would try and discuss with you myths and facts about anger. Is that I shouldn't hold in my anger. It is healthy to vent and let it out. This is one myth. But the fact is that where it is true that suppressing and ignoring anger is unhealthy, venting is no better. Anger is not something you have to let out in an aggressive way in order to avoid blowing up. You don't have to be a South Indian hero where you have to beat everybody else to prove your point. In fact, outbursts and tirades only fuel the fire and reinforce your anger problem. It will make you more angry. You have seen happenings around you. The more you try to, let out your anger, the more angry you become because the situations outside you in the ecosystems are not under your control. The second myth is, of course, anger, aggression, and intimidation help me earn respect and get what I want. Temporarily, it looks like this only. The true power doesn't come by bullying others. You can beat anybody to submission, but you cannot make somebody agree because of beating. People may be afraid of you, but they won't respect you if you can't control yourself or handle opposing viewpoints. Others will be more willing to listen to you and accommodate your needs if you communicate in a respectful way. Respect, get respect. Give respect, take respect, and your communication will be healthier and better. Other myth is that I can't help myself. Anger isn't something you can control. Fact is that you can't always control the situation you are in or how it makes you feel, but you can control how you express your anger. You can express your anger without being verbally or physically abusive. Even if someone is pushing your buttons, you always have a choice about how to respond. So the response in your hand, trigger may be elsewhere, but you have to understand that the creative venting of anger is helpful in longer run rather than a destructive or a reactive or a violence way. Anger management is about learning to suppress your anger. It is a myth. Never getting angry is not a good goal. Anger is normal and it will come out regardless of how hard you try to suppress it. Anger management is all about becoming aware of your underlying feelings and needs and developing healthier ways to manage upset. Rather than trying to suppress your anger, the goal is to express it in constructive ways. Anger is a positive phenomena if it leads you to do something which you can't do in normal situation. But anger becomes a destructive phenomena if you do it wrong way. So you must learn how to control your anger. Out of control anger hurts your physical health. You must know that if you become angry at every tip of iceberg, you're going to be a physically not a robust person. Even if your physique body is all right, your mind will be very, very weak. Constantly operating at high levels of stress and tension is bad for your health. Chronic anger makes you more susceptible to heart diseases, diabetes, high cholesterol levels, weak immune system, insomnia, and high blood pressure. The modern medicine has now been able to understand that positive thoughts make your liver positive. Negative thoughts weaken your liver. So you can understand that why positivity is very important. And anger can never be a positive idea. Out of control anger hurts your mental health. Chronic anger consumes huge amount of mental energy and clouds your thinking, making it harder to concentrate, see the bigger picture, and enjoy life. Can also lead to stress, depression, and other mental health problems if you are not able to control your anger. Out of control anger hurts your career. Constructive criticism, creative differences, and heated debate can be healthy, but lashing out only alienates your colleagues, supervisors, or clients and erodes their respect. What is more, a bad reputation can follow you wherever you go, making it harder and harder to get ahead. I will try and share you a very small anecdote at this point. I knew a gentleman who was top, he was top officer in army, then he retired, and then he opened a travel agency, and he was running a very successful travel agency in Delhi. One day I took an appointment when I was in Delhi. I tried to meet him. I saw a person sitting outside around the gate and on a very small chair, a stool you can say. And I asked him, can I meet the gentleman? He said, yes, he is waiting for you. You can go ahead. I went inside, met him, and I simply asked, who was the gentleman? Looked very smart, was sitting on the gate. He said, he's my son. He is going to replace me when I retire. I said, son sitting on the gate. He said, this is hospitality business, my dear. And people with high education, belonging to good family, their body has a lot of starch. So when you want to serve the hospitality sector, all the soft in your approach. He's gone. A lot of scars in your, in the people you love most and gets the way of your friendship. Many often friendships are broken at uncontrolled anger. Chronic intense anger makes it hard for others to trust you, speak honestly, or feel comfortable. They never know what is going to set you off or what you will do. Explosive anger is especially damaging to children. We must realize this, that anger has no virtues, it only has problems. So goal of anger management is to reduce both your emotional feelings and the physiological arousal that anger causes. So you can have a self-guide kind of a thing. This self-guide can be used as a phenomena that you must know. Few questions for which you have to respond in either yes or no. None of the answers are right or wrong. They are yes or no answers. Some of my friends feel that I am irritable. I can become violent and also to get my rights. If things don't go according to my way, I get into an argument even against my will. I feel as if I am helpless. I remain alert when confronted with strangers who are more than amiable. I become violent if somebody provokes me. Jealousy overwhelms me sometimes. I feel that there has always been injustice all my life. I'm not able to control my anger. I express my irritation when confronted with failure. Sometimes I feel that people laugh at my back. I feel bitterness for certain issues. I get into quarrels more often than a normal person would. My friends consider me as a person who loves to fall in disputes. These are some of the questions that will help you, self-appraise yourself. You will realize this. I'm not saying whether you think it is positive or negative, but it is best to find out what it is that triggers your anger. And then to develop strategies to keep those triggers from tipping you over the edge. Be aware of your anger warning signs and triggers. That you must know that what irritates you, what arouses you, what triggers your anger. And if you're able to do that, you have won the battle, or 50% battle is in your control if you have done this. To identify the negative thought patterns that trigger your temper. Avoid people, places, and situations that bring out your worst. You relax a bit. A cognitive restructuring will help you, get into the puzzles and get into, constructive reading and all that. Problem solving, better communication, using humor, and changing your environment if you are not able to feel normal at a situation that you are in. And then you cool down a little bit. And if you cool down, you will realize that your energy is back, your concentration is back. You are what you are. Focus on physical sensations of anger. As to, maybe sometimes it is counterintuitive. Tuning into the way of your body feels when you are angry often lessens the emotions intensity. Some people eat chocolate to become calm. Some people eat a lot to become calm. Some people drink water or something to become calm. Take some deep breaths. Deep breaths means pranayama. That always helps you calm down. Exercises also help you calm down. You have 5 senses in your body. Use your senses to, to become calm, cool down. You stretch or massage areas of tension. You will cool down, and of course, count to 10 is always been given by all management gurus around the world. That if you count to 10, that will help the mind rationalize a bit, cool down a lot. And mind it, he who angers you controls you. Angry man is out of control. And the control or remote button goes to the person who has angered you. He is happy that he has angered you. Now you are not a normal person anymore. And therefore, your performance will be bad. His performance will be good. Stay in control of your anger. Don't let your anger control you. Anger is a momentary madness. So control your passion or it will control you. Mind it, anger is not a normal situation. Anger is always, it makes you blind for a time being. Sometimes we get angry with people when we should be angry with ourselves because we gave them the power to change our mood and feelings. So power inside you must remain inside you rather than it goes outside. Now here, this was the modern day phenomena of understanding anger and managing it. I'm also trying to give you, a little bit more of our context or getting the context right. Who is the best person? He whose mind is unaffected by misery or pleasure and is free from all bonds and attachments, fear, and anger, is a man of steady wisdom and decisive intellect. This has been given in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, shloka 56. And I deliberately tried to quote most of the chapters, they also understand, as you know, what is anger. Anger has been, something that has been tried to understand. Everyone has tried to understand anger from time immemorial. You can see, Shloka 62 gives you. Dhayado Vishayan Punsaha Sangat Tesh Pujayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate. This is Lord Krishna is telling you. Those who always think about sensual objects get attached to those objects. Attachment arouses desires. And when one does not get what he desires, irritation is aroused. And from irritation stems anger and frustration. This is also a very logical chronology of anger. How you become angry and what is at the root. Then what anger takes you? Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama, smriti dhransha buddhinasho, buddhinashat praschati. The best, Lord says, from anger stems delusion, false beliefs or assumptions. Delusion causes loss of one's memory. Loss of one's memory creates a confused mind. The confused mind makes a person lose his or her ability to reason and lose their power to solve his or her problems. When one loses his or her power to reason, the person will suffer ultimate death and destruction. Now, this is now you can see probably that the anger can take you up to any unconceivable level now. Then he says, all of those wise men who have learned to control their minds, have learned to conquer and abolish all the desires and anger within them, and have truly realized God, attained freedom and liberation from worldly ties in all respects. So if you can win over your anger, you are in a different world altogether. Then he says, all of the significant qualities in all beings, such as freedom from fear, purity of mind and heart, stability in knowledge and concentration, generosity in charity, self-control, sacrifice, constant study of the holy scriptures, piousness, and straightforwardness. If you have won over your fear, you have won over everything. Non-violence, truth, freedom from anger, detachment from all things, peacefulness, restraint from finding faults with others, compassion towards all living beings, detachment from greedy cravings, gentleness, modesty, and stability of the mind and emotion is something that we probably aspire for, and that will be the virtue that probably you are looking into yourself. You need vigor, an attitude of forgiveness towards others, courage, purity, goodwill towards others, and freedom from pride. All of these are considered to be the great characteristics of a man who possesses a divine nature and has come into this world from heaven. These are the three, he says there are three entrances of gateways to hell. What are these? All leading to death of the self. These particular gates are known as the gateways of lust, anger, and greed. So anger is one of the gateways to hell. It will never take you to the positive side. Man should avoid these gateways all his life, or he shall inevitably suffer in his hell and death. So we should first think about ourselves. I have given you a set of questions to answer. Maybe the class monitor or the class coordinator will help all of them to self-analyze themselves as to what they are and what they feel. And the more honest self-introspection that you do, the better person you will emerge out to be. And of course, that I complete my talks here because I wanted a lot of time to be given to students for asking their questions. And once they ask their questions, I'll be very, very happy to answer those questions. I'm open to all your questions, my dear. So if you want, you can write, and if you want, you can speak and ask. Raise your hand before you ask a question, so that will be easy for me to concentrate on you. Yes, Aditi, you had unmuted your Alka or Aditi.
If you have any question, please ask. Please go ahead. Yes, Anand, please.
Sir, as you take reference from Mahabharata and told that attachment tends to desire and desire to irritation and finally to anger. So how could we identify that we are getting attached to something, and how could we stop it there only?
See, you will know once you fill the questionnaire that I have given you, what is your state of desires and attachments and all that. So self introspection is the first way to know what are your desires. And number one. Number two, desires and attachment to desires. There's the second layer of that. I desire a lot of things. Fair enough. Like you, like me. I also desire a lot of things. I also become happy to see some things around me, and I wish that there are something same things as me, including a private jet. Fine, fair enough. But I am not attached to that desire. Desire and attachment to desire is two different things. Because if you are attached to a desire, you will try and achieve it by using any means, fair or foul. The moment your attachment becomes dominating force inside you, your straight ways will be, pathways will be blocked, and you will walk a path which is not your path. And that is where the deviation starts. That is what Lord Krishna says in Gita, that if you have attachment to that, attachment is more important than the anger minded. विषयात जिसको कहा ना उन्होंने कि आप उससे अगर वो आपको गाइड करने लगेगा, आप उससे अटैच हो जाएंगे. आपने देखा होगा जो आजकल तमाम सारे लाइव शोज में भी आ रहा है, जो माइंड जिसको कहते हैं माइंड रीडिंग या मेंटल रीडिंग, मेंटल अटैचमेंट, जो जादू दिखाते हैं, वो क्या है? If you are attached to somebody else's mind, that mind will govern you. That is where attachment is important. Desires are not negative. Then desire and attachment to those desires will take you to a path which is not your path, or maybe you have not done the self-introspection before attaching to that desire. And that strength inside you to know, what you are lies in one of the questionnaires that I have given. Of course, many more readings will also help you a lot. Yes, Vibha, you're saying something.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. Anyone else would like to ask any question?
I'll send you this presentation also so that you can keep it in your reference, and you can share it with your students. They can take their sweet time to study it and maybe analyze themselves, and
Yes,
don't become babas and sadhus, but become enlightened citizens of this country.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I, Dr. Vibha Yadav, on behalf of all the students, faculty members, and other members of the institute, would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to you for enlightening us with your valuable knowledge on anger management. And I believe that this learning was going to help us in our professional as well as personal domains of life. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.